G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Destro the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the Titans Return Trypticon, and God help me doing this review. So I want to start by saying that before we get to the articulation phase, I will not be using these joints here. I will not be rotating his legs. I would hope that the Generation Select version fixed it, but the Titans Return figure had a infamous hip joint that if used far too much would literally shred itself. So I will not be using that joint no matter what. So my transformation may look a little off, but for the most part it will be proper. I just refuse to accidentally snap the hip joint, and then thusly my Trypticon can't stand anymore. Now I'm sure there's ways to fix it, and I haven't gone into it, but just so you know, I will not be doing it. I'll say it, but I will not be doing it. Now, I am standing up. I am not usually sitting in my seat, and my tripod is very, very high up. So, let that be said, if my voice sounds a bit weird, that is why. Now, let me get a size comparison out of the way, because I want to get him connected. So, we'll just drop the camera a bit, because I need to do this, even though technically I did it in the last video. Here he is with Brunt. And, of course, here he is with full tilt, which, as you saw at the end of the last video, if you watched, they're both basically up to his knees. All right, we'll put Brunt to the side because we don't really need him anymore, but we do need full tilt. So I'm going to lift the camera up again, but we have to do a little bit of transformation. So let me get full tilt in position, and then hopefully the camera in a position I like. Okay, so I am back in my seated position. I have full tilt transformed. I don't have Necro in here. You can put the gun on. I'm not going to. But if you flip up this panel without popping his chest out, you can flick this down. You have this port here, and you have a little tab in there. So you have for your little port, and this will go into that little tab, or at least get it onto the port, into there. This will fold up, locking in place, bring that down his chest, and now full tilt is back where he was when I first got him. So that is where he is, but obviously due to how I like to display him, he's usually on the ground. All right, before we get any further, he is, of course, a Titans Return figure. Thank you, car next door. So he does have Titan ports, and I will do my best to point them out. I don't know if it's probably better in this mode or in alt mode, but there's one here, one on the other side. Actually, I might do it in alt mode because it might actually make it easier. So let's get through the details in dinosaur mode. So obviously this is supposed to be down, but I prefer it up. So that flicks up. It does have a slight spring mechanism. He does have his tongue blasters, which don't move. However, you can, and I love the fact that I now have two of these to do this. You can take your Titan Master, which this is one of the sweeps that I think I got with, Nor. He does have eating action, which of course then you can pull here down. Of course, probably doesn't help that full tilt in position, but bring that down, ouch, and you get access to his belly, so you can do your Titan Master back. Not a lot of detail in there. There's, I think it's more connected. Yeah, I think that's more connected to his neck. That's more connected to his stomach. Obviously, be careful with the transparent plastic, and mine's not really sitting properly anymore, but that is what it is. Right. So let's get down to articulation. Damn flies. Now, once again, also, I have this slightly mistransformed. I have these. You can pop them back, rotate it back, and the way that's supposed to look. But I like the idea of my Trypticon with his lasers out. All right, so head can do a full 360 on a very, 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 very weird angle. I'll try to bring it a little bit closer so I can actually reach it. Yeah, I think the actual grip's gone in here, but head can do, mine's very, very tight after all these years, surprisingly. Head can do a full 360. It's probably also dust. Stay at a weird angle. So the whole backpack follows through. Head can look way up. Mouth can, of course, close. And that's also this. It's really here that's connected to the neck, not here. So you can look down, look up, no side to side. There's slight ratchets in there. Arms can do a full 360. They go out that far. You have elbow bend that gets you that far. You have wrist bend that gets you, whoops, didn't even see any of that, sorry. Wrist bend that gets you that far. You have double claws here and single claw that doesn't get very far. No bicep rotation, no wrists. As I said, we'll drop the camera down a bit and I can actually probably grab my chair again. As I said, full rotation at the legs, but if you have the Titan's Return version, I would not chance it. No waist rotation. He does have slight in and out of the legs. He has knee bend, hard ratcheted knee bend, which, ooh, don't do that. Don't do that. Which obviously does not get much use because I don't use that ankle at all, that hip. And of course you have ratcheted ankles, and you have toe up and down, and you have inner ankles, which go in and out separately. But that is more for transformation and stability. I also think that these are a leftover remnant from when he had walking features. So yeah, there's that. All right, so we'll get to final size comparisons after we get him back from his 3 modes. Yes, he is a triple changer just like Metroplex, and just like Metroplex we have base mode and city mode. I think I'll go for battle mode first. If I can remember how to do this. It has been a while and I have not practiced. So if I screw up, you'll know why. Also, I think there's wheels on his back. Ugh. Yes. All right. So for battle mode, I'm probably going to have to get the camera even higher, just for the time being. So we'll pull him back just a smidgen. All right. So we're going to close this. Close his mouth. Lift these up. We want to rotate the head 180 till here. And we'll leave the lasers for the time being. The arms, we're going to fold basically, is it folded in or fold back? No, fold in on itself. And this is going to come back, and there is I'm hoping you're seeing all this. Go away, fly. And get the fly spray in. You have this tab that's going to go into this port, like so. And we want to lift all that up. I don't think it goes all the way. Yeah, it does. So it goes all the way back. Excuse me 1 second. I think I got him. Anyway, so let's continue on. So do the same thing on the other side. Bring him around. Now I'm going to have a coughing fit. Anyway, so this all folds in and back. Bring that back and tab that in. Fold that all the way up. Now, while I'm at it, I think I'm probably going to need to do it here. Now, nothing like taking a lungful of fly spray and then choking yourself. Anyway, so we're going to bring this down to here. Do the same on the other side. All right, this is where things are going to get a little bit awkwardy and handsy. So what I want to do is bring him around, and I'm gonna I've just got to figure out where the hinge is. I'm gonna pop. There should be a handle somewhere. I'm trying to remember where. Where are you? Where are you? It has been forever. Okay, I found it. So behind the leg, I'll try and do my best to actually show it when I can get to it. Behind the leg, there is a little latch that frees the hip, and then you can pop that up. And I'm going to do the same on the other side while everything's all rattling around. And I, don't do that. Ah, crap. Where are you? Gotcha. Alright, now I got mini Trypticon. Alright, let's drop this camera down a bit so people can actually see. Alright, so bring that back so that will snap into there. I'm trying to get my legs back to basically where they were. Right? Trust me, this is a lot easier to do in person than it is in obviously this on camera. So I'm just going to tilt them forward a little bit, and I'm going to take his tail, fold that all the way down like so. Now we have wheels here, so we're going to rotate him over. And that is now going to be our lower portion. Lift up the cans a little bit. Yes, I know there's not a lot of viewing room. We're going to fold this down. We're going to fold this down. And then, very carefully, we're going to pop here. Then I'll bring that down. And then I'm going to try to just articulate the knee. And there is a tab. There's a tab on the back of the heel that will tab into here. So that is all set. And then, without absolutely making a mess of my table, bring this around, get that up there, bring this down. Where are you? I know there was one button, but I'm not sure about the other. Where are you? Is it? Oh, it's the same button. I thought it was two separate ones. So, bend that knee. Get that tabbed in. Bring the inner ankle down. Sorry, that was a bit fast. Bring that in. This is the button I was talking about. This releases both the hip and this piece here. Alright, so we're almost done. Bring that down like so, or we can, you didn't even see any of that, but I basically dropped the lasers. You want to bring out this. You can, if you want, bring out that, but that's more for, beg my pardon, city mode. We can go around the other side, and I think there's actually a tab for the hip, but I don't know where it is. Bring this one over. We can bring these down, but I think that's also more for city mode. I'm trying to remember at this point, because, yeah, there's a lot. I don't think so. I think that actually stays up. So then you can angle them how you want. And there is Trypticon in his battle station mode. And I will get my chair out of the way and try to actually show you. So, 1 second. So there it pretty much is, although I forgot to lift those up. Now, it looks more like a spaceship than a battle station. In saying that, God, my throat. In saying that, he had more of a battle station because he couldn't fly, except for when Metroplex threw him. So yeah, I want to assume this is a modern interpretation of that mode. So take that for what you will, I guess. All right, so let me do size comparison. I'm not bringing anything big in, but if I get it to sit, there is Windblade, if that'll even focus. There we go. All right, let's get into battle mode, into city mode, and I'm just looking at it thinking I may have to take a chance with those hips again, so I'm just going to be very, very, very careful. All right, so we're going to drop this. We're going to bring this down. Beg my pardon, I apologize. I'm trying to remember how this works. So we'll just bring that a bit closer so I can actually get to things. So we want to lift that up, and lift that up. We want to bring these down. I'm trying to remember how the legs work because we're going to need access to that ramp. So if I think I am going to have to use that hip. I'm not comfortable about it, but I'm going to try. So pray for me. I'm just going to fold that in for the moment. Okay, what is fighting against me? Because I can hear it. No, it's just that. All right, so let's see if I can do this without it. So we need to split the leg and bring this out. We need to extend all that. All right, I'm going to be very, very careful. Actually, can I do it without it? No, I'm going to have to because I'm going to need that platform. So I'm going to be very, very gentle. And bring that out there. And bring these down. And bring that down if you want. Also, I realized I haven't done any of the tabs, which hopefully I can spot some on the other side. All right, so bring that down, bring this down. You can extend that again if you want, but that's up to you. All right, give me half a second. And there we have city mode. Now, I realized after I did this, what was fighting me, it was the tabs that put the legs into the middle there. So that was my bad. I'm trying to think if there's anything if this opens. I don't think it does. So there is Trypticon in city mode. And of course, there he is with Windblade. Actually, that's bad. Let's try again. There he is with Windblade. So he is absolutely massive. I think his city mode is bigger than now that I'm thinking of it. Except for, no, let's not include Ark and Nemesis because they don't do a city mode. Apart from stretching out, he's bigger, I would say, than Metroplex. He's definitely bigger than Omega. Actually, Omega's probably close, but he's he's definitely bigger than Scorponok because Scorponok and Fort Max length out. They don't spread out. So yeah, there is a lot of detail here that I just have no idea how the hell to actually go through. There are numerous Titan ports all over the place. But like I said, if you have a Titan Returns Trypticon, and I'm sure there's ways to fix it, I haven't looked into it, just be careful of doing this mode because you will have to move those hips. You could probably find other ways of dealing with it, but not really. And of course, you have your pegs that allow you to connect things and whatnot. So do that for what you will. All right, let's get him back into robot mode. And then let's try bringing in a couple of the Titans at least. So we're going to flip up this piece, fold those down if we haven't already. I'm just thinking about the most convenient way of doing this. We want to bring these in, bring this down. I'm going to, well, of course you can put those how you want it. We'll leave them how they are for the time being. So I can get that, actually I might just fold them forward. So at least they're pointing the same way as the head. We're going to flip up the ramps. And then we're going to do the one part that is currently scaring the shit out of me. So once again, you have this button here that locks all this in place. So I'm going to do one leg, and I'll skip the other one because I'm going to have to shift it around too much. All right, or at least I will try to do one leg. So bring this up, and you can see all this detail, all this great detail. So this is your stand and all this. So this is all going to fold in itself. You have ports and tabs and such absolutely everywhere. You just have to make sure that the upper and lower leg actually connect properly. And it's also just a matter of trying to get that ankle to move. So just try and get things to go where they're supposed to go. Right, so I think I've got it. No, that ramp was in the way. Right, there's that. All right, so we are going to bring the hip forward, if it lets me, like so. And then you got all this that's going to lock in here. So that locks your hip in. And then this is going to come up under here, and that will also lock all that in place, like so. Now give me a second, I'll do the other leg and I'll be back. Now of course the one step I didn't really show, and I should have done it before I actually altered the camera, obviously I straightened his legs up, put his inner ankles where I want them to be, and so on and so forth. So then we can bring the tail up. Come on. I was sure that went somewhere else. Hang on. I'm going well with this review. So I know this is a very, very, very odd and weird angle, but yes, this does open. I'm not 100% sure what I use that for, but yes, it is there. Now I've relatively got him how I want him standing, but the joint that I was trying to find was here, which basically extends the tail out. But trying to pick it up and actually show it is just an absolute nightmare. So just take my word for it. Just at the back of the thigh here, that bends. Once again, I still have no current idea what I'd use that for. But yeah, I suppose you could do it as a extension for his tail. But do that what you will. Anyway, so let's bring the arms down. So we have ports here and here. Pegs and ports, I should say. Just be careful of that pin. I'm sure it'll wear out over time. We can then bring the armor out, extend all that, and do our T-Rex / Godzilla. Because I'm sorry to say, but this is definitely more Godzilla than T-Rex. So we'll get that laser out of the way. Bring this down, tab that in, untab that if it hasn't already, bring that around, bring that out. Position his claw how you ever wish. And we're on the home stretch. Excuse me. We're going to rotate the head around, which I don't know why that's why. The actual noggin, the back of the head, actually locks his neck into place. So bring it forward a bit and then rotate it, but still be careful of these. I gotta put some, thing is I don't usually have full tilt on his chest. So normally I don't have to worry about that doorway, but it is what it is. Of course, you can open it up, and as I will, you can bring his laser out. You can bring his guns. Like obviously they're supposed to fall back here, go up, and this is how it's supposed to be, but I like it this way. So there we go. There is Trypticon back in Dino mode. And holy Jesus. Also, am I the only one who didn't realize till much, much later, and his name's currently escaping me, who didn't realize, especially for those of you watched it in, I think it's the early 2000s, I want to say, early 2010s, early 2000s. If you or any of your family watched I Love Raymond, Raymond's older brother, the deep-voiced copper, was the voice of Trypticon in Season 3, which blew my mind just incredibly. All right, let's do final size comparisons. Here he is with MP10. Probably really should have brought Galvatron in here, but he's behind so much shit I cannot be bothered. So MP10 comes up to just below his hips, but just above his crotch. All right, time to do some cuts, because holy geez, trying to bring these in and just drop them is going to be an absolute pain in the ass. There he is with Combiner Wars Devastator, with only slight modifications for Mixmaster. Everything else is proper, also his hands. But his head basically just comes up over the top of Trypticon's shoulder. Combiner Wars, not Age of the Prime. There he is with the Jurassic World Dominion Super Colossal T-Rex, and that is as far back as I can get her legs, and I can't drop her head. So if you go from the top of her head, if it could bend down, and he's bent down, I think she'd only be a smidgen taller, but all things considered, they're pretty decently sized together. Here he is with Titan's Return Fortress Maximus, who, of course, as far as I'm aware, excluding the HasLab Unicron, is still technically the tallest Titan we've got, even though he uses a lot of elements from Metroplex. I would say, I think he's still taller by a couple of centimeters. I'm not 100% sure. But it's ironic that we got Trypticon, we got Fortress Maximus. So, yeah. And last but not least, Generations Metroplex. And I just had a moment and I'm like, is he actually taller than Fort Max? So I actually brought more Fort Max back in, put them next to each other. With Cerebro, or Fort Max's head, he's about an inch taller than Metroplex. Because honestly, looking at this, Metroplex looks massive compared to Trypticon. I think lore-wise, and it could also be because I've got his knees bent, he should be a little bit taller to match Metroplex. But, you know, Generations Metroplex was at some point going to be just a one-off. So we were never expecting the Titan class to be a Titan class. So there we go. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.